this tournament report. As usual for these tournament reports, we are on the A12 on the way to Colchester.
Yay!
It's myself, Curly here, and Mark is driving.
Alright.
So today's tournament in Colchester is at 40k, where we usually go. Good group of lads down there who we go and play with. It's an 1850 one-day tournament.
1750.
Pardon?
1750.
1750. Better check my army list. I think my army list is 1750. We'll be okay. So it's a 1750 3-round event. I believe, we won't know for certain until we get there, but I'm pretty certain we're using Maelstrom missions today. And it's going to be rolled randomly out of the book to see which ones we get. I think there's a selection of 2 for each round, so we won't ever repeat a game. There are a few house rules, but again, when we get there, we'll confirm all of that. So, Armies, what are you bringing today, Marcus?
Don't give me that tone of voice.
Well, Mark was supposed to be bringing a Drop Pod Space Marine list.
Yep.
And then I spoke to him during the week and he's like, no, it's not at all painted, Curly, not bringing that.
No.
So what have you gone for, Mark?
I've gone for my backup army has always been Dark Eldar, so that's what I've gone for today. So for HQ, I've got a Succubus. She's got the Armour of Misery, the Arctic Leave, and a Web Ray Portal plus Haywire Grenades.
The Armour of Misery is the -2 leadership, isn't it?
-2 leadership, yeah, 4+ armour save, 6+ invuln, and it gives her fear as well, which I quite like.
Yep. Really good versus orcs.
Yes, really good. Really good. The whole -2 leadership is actually quite powerful. I think. There's a lot of stuff
I think so as well.
So I just really like the armour, and I just think she's a good Dark Eldar HQ. I'm a real space raiders as well, so I'm not objective secure, but I can take 6 fast attack.
Nice.
Onto my troops, I've gone for 3 min squads of Cavalry Warriors, each with Venom with dual cannons.
Yep.
For fast attack, I have 9 Reaver jet bikes, 3 Heat Lances, 3 cluster Caltrops, and a Sergeant upgrade. That's
interesting. You always take the Reavers in your army, don't you?
Yep.
But this time you've gone for the Heat Lances and the clusters.
Yes.
Because previously you've tried it with the clusters all the time, just trying the hit and run in combat.
Yeah. This time it's because I was actually thinking about it, and actually they're quite a good unit to deep strike if I need to with the Web Ray Portal.
Ah, that's true. Yeah, so you can hit the back of a knight or something.
Yeah, and you're going to hear later on I've got a Farseer. So the Farseer can take powers like Mind War or Psychic Streak and Dominate. So between them all, that's like a lot of negative leadership.
Yeah. And
you want them together, so the -2 leadership stacking with Psychic Streak, stacking with Mind War works really well.
I can see, yeah, that's a good idea.
Although obviously then some mobility, you know, I will deep strike a Venom nearby or deep strike to the nearest with Venom and stuff like that, so she can quickly get out before it becomes a real issue. So
nice.
It kind of gives me that, yeah, it's like basically having another drop pod melter unit, and then I probably won't find a melter gun to game, but they can then obviously go off and do any other thing. So yeah. They're not bad. I mean, it's not, you're only paying, I think it's 15 points for an 18-inch range strip 6 gun, so it's not, it's alright.
That's pretty good. AP1.
Yeah. So just give you some more extra anti-tank. So yeah, that's the Reavers. I've got 5 Scourges with Haywire Blaster just for some sort of long range AT, and they're just quite useful.
Yeah, I always like the Scourges.
I've got 1 Razorwing Jet Fighter. It's gone for Disintegrators and a Splinter Cannon.
You've gone Dizzy, not Lancers.
Yeah, I generally prefer. My original list had 2 Razor Wings. 1 had Dark Lancers, 1 had the Dizzies. But I just like the. I think it's a little bit better against things like Demon Princes and Flyrants.
Yeah.
The 6 sort of strength 5 AP2 shots.
Yeah, I would agree.
It just gives me a little bit more. Sometimes you just need that sort of volume of low AP firepower.
Yeah, it'd be better versus my army, for instance.
Yeah, and good versus jetbacks as well, so which I think could potentially be prevalent. So I just quite like that. So that's my Scourges, my Reavers, 3 fast attack Venoms.
3 fast attack Venoms.
Yes, which are obviously going to get filled up by Eldar. Then it is onto my Eldar. They've got a Farseer jetbike, as I mentioned. He's got the spear, so he's got a strength 9 shots, so he's like a backup melter gun, as it were.
Yep, that's it, an additional.
And obviously the Succubus has got a Harrowhead Grenade, so it's kind of 5 anti-tank shots if we want to put them all together.
If only Dark Eldar could stick their HQs on bikes.
Yes, I would actually, it would just make me happy.
Yep, it would make every Dark Eldar player happy.
I want HQ on bike, or I want Vec to have that level 2 ability or some sort of ability, just because I can't do any reserve manipulations out because I don't want to spend 100 points on a crappy Bastion. That has no purpose in my army other than reserve manipulation.
Yep.
But anyway, so Farseer, she's got the stone that can make warp charge 2 power, warp charge 1.
Yep.
And she's got the spear. I've got 5 fire dragons with an Exarch, because you always take an Exarch now.
Yep.
They're going to probably spend most of the time in one of the Venoms. I have 2 min squads of jet bikes with no upgrades, just for objectives secured scoring, which is just obviously really good.
Yep.
I've gone for 6 Walt Spiders, because they're just really good at new rules, and finally 3 Dark Reapers.
Dark Reapers, yeah. They are the hard counter to our jet bikes.
Yep, and again they can obviously they can go into Venom, and also they can go deep striking down with a succubus to spot room for in the Venom as well. So
yeah,
that's my sort of alternative deployment.
Have you got an Exarch with them at all?
Yes, they got an Exarch. Yeah, they all my aspect wise have an Exarch. Just for 10 points, it's just an absolute
so good for 10 points now.
Yeah, so I think the Wall Spiders get like immune to sort of all the leadership type stuff.
They do.
Yeah. And then I think the Dark Reaper, he gets an extra shot, doesn't he? So 10 points for an extra wound and an extra shot is just really good.
Yeah.
And I've gone for the crack missiles and all my.
I was going to ask if you got that a bit more long range anti-tank if needed.
Yeah, so that gives me 4 strength 8 shots plus 4 haywire shots at long range if I need to.
Yep.
Which can move around as well, which is quite good. So
seems strong.
So yes, that is my list.
Okay, so what have I gone for? What should we look at while I tell you my list? We'll look out the front. You can see Mark speeding along. Not that he's speeding much.
This is perfectly 70.
Yeah, this is exactly 70. Nobody do some kind of speed test internet thingamy.
Yeah.
Okay, so my list today, I am playing Space Marines as ever. One day I'll have a fully painted Xeno army. I could play my demons, I suppose. So I am playing Space Marines primary with Grey Knights allies. The Space Marines consists of Chapter Master on bike, Shield Eternal, Thunderhammer, Auspex. He has got 3 squads of bikes with him. 2 are grav centric, so they've got 2 grav guns, 1 combi grav on the sergeant in squads of 5, and then the other one is a melter squad. The sergeant's got a melter bomb. There's 2 melter guns and a attack bike with a multi-melter. We've also got a squad of 5 Legion of the Damned. They've got full melter as well, so combi melter, melter gun and multi-melter, drop pod deep striking in, no drop pod. And then I've got a Thunderfire cannon rounding off the Space Marines. In Grey Knights I've got a Grey Knight Librarian. He's upgraded to level 3. He's got the Armour of Sacrifice, the Cuirass of Sacrifice I think it's actually called. Gives him feel no pain, it will not die. Just a bit of protection versus perils, because being quite expensive 2 wound psyker, you really need a little bit of protection, so it can come in useful. He's with a squad of Terminators. They've got 3 halberds, a hammer and a side cannon, and then I've got the obligatory 2 Dreadknights. You can tell because I've only got 1 troop choice that I'm using the Grey Knight strike formation. 2 Dreadknights, one of them is armed with a Force Sword, Personal Teleporter, Heavy Incinerator and Gatling Silencer, and the other one is armed with Personal Teleporter, Heavy Side Cannon and Heavy Incinerator. Should be 1750 on the nose. So what do we think we're going to face today, Mark?
Oh, I'm not trying to work out this song a bit better. No idea.
I'm not sure there's been enough time since the Eldar release for there to be full scat bike Eldar there at all.
I don't know, I don't think it's a particularly difficult conversion, to be honest.
Probably not, especially if you were magnetised previously.
Yeah, if someone wanted, you can't, I don't think you would magnetise it, it would have to be a chop job.
Yeah.
Because the way that it's part of the hull, so you have to, it goes in between 2 bits, so I don't think it'll be magnetised.
Aha.
But yeah, I agree, I don't think we'll see it necessarily. I've never really seen Eldar be that malevolent down there.
I'm not sure, we're not exactly certain what formation rules they're allowing, if you're allowed any formations. We asked the question but didn't really get much of a response. So whether you're allowed to take the new Necron Dukarion or whatever it is.
Well, they said no to that.
They've definitely said no, have they?
No formations, definitely no formations.
No formations, okie dokie then. What about numbers of Lords of War and such?
Or as per normal combined arms attachments, you can only take 1 Lord of War. I don't know what they said about the Knights because I don't think that process has come out when I spoke to them. So.
Okie doke.
So I don't know if Knights are allowed or what.
I suspect we won't see full Knight armies there. We might see a squad of 3 or something, but if they're unsure about formations, I don't think, because you won't be seeing the Adlance and you won't see any of the new formations in the new book. Yeah. I think they lose quite a lot due to that as a full army then. I'm not sure how viable they will be.
I mean, yeah.
Especially because it's Maelstrom.
Yeah, Knights suffer a bit in Maelstrom. They can be really good though, but...
Yeah. I'm hoping to fight a Skitarii army today because I haven't played against them.
Yeah, I'd like to fight.
That would be awesome.
Skitarii would be cool. Advent the Codex isn't out yet, is it?
It's not out yet, no,
Yeah.
so can't really take that.
I don't know. Just interesting to see what kind of variation. I think I'm quite. If I pick an army I'm good against, you know, anything with lots and lots of foot presence.
Yep.
Something like a Tyrannid, toughness based army would be cool. Wouldn't want to play against. I wouldn't want to particularly play against Scatterbikes.
No, I don't want to play against 5 flying hive tyrants.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's no fun.
You can't do 5 though. The max you can do is a 4.
Okie dokie. How?
Because they're only allowed 1 primary detachment and 1 allied detachment, aren't they?
Aha!
So you can use the big one for the 5 fish. You can take 3 in there and then 1 from your ally.
Well, you can't ally with yourself, so.
I think they're allowing self-ally, I'm sure.
I'm getting a little torn on the altering the rules in the book because I have no clue. I'll probably turn up on my army's not allowed for some reason.
Yeah. It all gets kind of complicated, doesn't it?
Yeah, we shall find out. Okay, well, wish us luck. We'll do a report in between each round as usual. Hopefully you'll find that out shortly. Bye. So here we are at 40k as usual. You can see loads of tables available up top here. And we have finished our first game. Mark, how did you get on?
Yeah, so first game was tactical escalation, so it's where you start at one objective and you build up to equal to the turn number, and it's hammer and anvil deployment. It was quite good because I won the roll for first turn. He was playing a Ultramarines list. He had a Land Raider, he had a Dreadnought, a Predator, a Whirlwind.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a proper Space Marine army, wasn't it? He seemed like a really nice guy as well. I've been chatting to him.
I've played him a few times actually. I really do like Jeff. He's a good bloke. Jeff was obviously the opponent.
Yep.
So yeah, he had some tactical squads on foot and he had some assault squads on foot. I got first turn. Now the problem was probably a slight list mismatch really in terms of damage potential.
Yeah.
Because I've got Haywire, lots of deep striking melter that can deal with his vehicle.
Yeah, his Land Raider. I mean, the Land Raider just has an issue in modern 40k, doesn't it? There's so much stuff that just kills it.
Yeah, my 5 dragons, I deep strike them in. They came in turn 2, blew up the Land Raider, blew up the Whirlwind. My Scourges only had the 1 shot, but they got first blood on the Predator.
Yep.
The Dreadnought eventually died to Dark Reapers shooting it. And then my Venom just put out such a torrent of shooting, eventually whittled them down. It got a bit dicey because early games when you're drawing up, I got just really, really bad tack cards. We both got bad tack cards.
Yeah.
So by turn 2, I only had like 2 points each. And then he had like a really good turn 3, wherein he had 7 Terminators. I salted him with my 4 Reaver unit, which is about 6 or 7 strong with Fortune up, into him and his lone captain.
Yeah.
Now I had 3 of my cluster card traps all in base contact with Terminators. D6 strength 6 running hits. You're looking at normally about sort of 10 plus hits.
Yeah.
I got 4.
Oh.
I then failed to rune twice, and obviously that meant the Terminator did a lot more damage to me. This meant I ended up losing the combat, lost the combat by 1, failed my morale check. Even with initiative 6, he managed to catch me in the swoop in advance.
That's not favourite.
Yeah, so that lost me about 6 or 7 Reavers, lost me my Farseer, and I was trying to get King's Tail at the time, so that really, really hurt me, and also stopped me getting an objective.
Yeah.
So that was looking really, really bad. But then his turn after that, he did a little bit more damage, and then my next turn, I pretty much just obliterated what he had left. I had a fly came on, killed some Terminators, picked off the rest of his vehicles, and then by the end of turn 5, I managed to get the table in.
Nice.
It pulled out in the end.
Excellent. So the way the tournaments work here, you score significant victory, normal victory, draw, loss or significant loss, and you get between 2 and 7 points for those. So it's a slight granulation in awarding a victory point. So if I pass the camera to Mark, you can see my pretty face.
Word up.
Hi there. So I was playing on a table over there with not a whole lot of terrain. It had lots of low-level terrain.
So we'll see, we can move to the train.
We can do.
Which
We'll
one?
go over there. You can see my lovely army as well.
This is the Scarlet Scars.
Scarlet Scars and Grey Knights I took today. So you can see low-level terrain on the table here. So started off, we both deployed. I was quite happy with deployment, but my opponent stole initiative, which was reasonably key, I think, because he noticed that my Dread Knights, I'll need to move a bit closer to the camera because there's noise in here, she won't pick me up. The Dread Knights are really dangerous to his list with the heavy flamers. He was playing Dark Eldar, he had a big unit of Scourges, big unit of jet bikes, 3 Raiders, 2 Ravagers, and a Raider with 2 Homoculuses, one of them named one inside Raider with what are the big monsters thing called?
Talos.
No, the other ones?
Grotesques.
Grotesques, and he had 2 Talos or the other one. I never know the difference between those. But he shot up my Dread Knights first turn, 2 Ravagers, killed the Dread Knight, and didn't do much else turn 1 because he was concentrating on the Dread Knights. The other one made a couple of saves. My first turn, I basically pushed forwards. My Dread Knight went over and silenced his 2 monstrous creatures, pretty handy. And then on his next turn he killed the second Dread Knight. But by that point all my bikes had moved up, I'd started gaining objectives and I'd started picking on his vehicles to nullify his mobility. Once I'd taken all his vehicles, my bikes were just riding in circles around and killing them. His kind of like Death Star unit was really tough in combat. It killed 2 of my bike units when they strayed too close, but I just kept out of the range, scoring objectives the whole time, and at the end he had just that unit left with half its models killed. They were in the centre of the table, I held all the rest. The Thunderfire cannon was immense. Turn 1 he moved forward and jinked his giant squad of bikes, and I just Thunderfired them and killed one of them with a Thunderfire shot.
Thunderfires are so good against
God,
them.
I love Thunderfires.
Yeah.
My Librarian was okay, he cast Force a couple of times, which my opponent then didn't come into close combat when he could have done, because I'd cast Force on the Grey Knight, so their weapons would have annihilated his Death Star. Other than that, it just worked as expected, really.
Cool, so sound like a good game.
Yeah, and I got a major victory, same as yourself, so we might be playing each other next round, but the tournament organiser Andy has hopefully said no.
It all depends, because there's a few different clubs down here, isn't it? So
yeah, that's it, so it all depends on the mix.
Yeah.
Okay, wish us luck in the next round. So I'm just going to go around and have a look at a few of the armies about today, just so you can see. So there's my creation there. We have this guy here who has brought 1,000,000 orcs with him, all painted beautifully yellow. He had a lot of orcs. How many orcs did you lose in that game, do you reckon?
About 60, 70.
And you still had all this deployed, right? He was playing against, it's hard to see under here, I shall pull it out so you can see it, hopefully without destroying anything. So under here you can see a really nicely painted Necron army. Instead of the usual green, it's got all blue on it, and the white is really crisp as well. This might be getting my vote for best painted, really pretty army. Moving over here, I think this is the Ultramarines that Mark was playing against. So a nice standard take-all-comers Ultramarine list, not that you see very often anymore, but nice and flavourful. Here we have a really nicely modelled Grey Knight army, a Forge World Dreadnought. We've got up there, we've got an Imperial Knight. My favourite here is this Dread Knight at the back, which has been reposed to be striding. But you'll notice that the arms on the model that's strapped to it have also been reposed, making it look so much better than the standard model. Quite jealous of mine there. Over here we have Tyranids. You can see here that this gentleman has, sorry, just butting in taking a video. See here this gentleman has really old school Tyranid models. They are so friendly.
Great care for my...
Yeah, great care. Can you pick one up so we can have a close up on the face of this beautiful model? Look how friendly that guy is. You wouldn't mind being eaten by that guy, would you? Cheers. What have we got here? More Necrons. Another really nicely painted army. People always say the Necrons are really easy to paint, but painting them well, I'm pretty certain can't be that easy. And these look awesome as well. What have we got on this centre table? More Grey Knights over here. Lots of Dread Knights on the tables today. Another Ultramarine player down here. Standard again. We've got a couple of tanks and a load of bodies in there. Moving over here, we've got some more Dark Elder. This is Mark's army, in fact. There we go. Picture of Mark's army for you. Various paint jobs in there. Mark is an eBay fanatic, similar to myself. Over here, another beautifully painted Grey Knight army. Lots of Grey Knights available today. Coming around here is another possible for best painted. So we've got a couple of Knights and a load of Space Dwarves in their big tanks. Really, really solid army. This one is the one that I'm probably voting as I think might win the tournament. I'll say it here now. We'll see how right I am at the end. Moving over here, we have another lovely painted Necron army. Really nice. I'm loving the white on the Necrons. And more orcs. You'll notice there's loads of orcs here at the tournament. And then let's just move around. We'll stride round here. Bear with me a second. We're going around. You can see all the lovely tables we've got here. So over here there is a massive great Stormlord thing. And a load of Imperial Guard that go in the back of it. That's the template it uses. We've got another Imperial Knight there. I'll ally with some Space Marines. Moving down the table, we have these 3 Imperial Knights here, which I'm always a big fan of. This guy had these modelled previously. You may have seen them on another battle report. And he always had this giant fist on this Imperial Knight, but now it's actually got rules, which is awesome. So that's his army there. And then another Imperial Knight here with some Dark Angel bikes and Terminators. Again, pretty nicely painted there, looking good. And lastly, we have a really nice Khorne Demon army over here. We have a couple of the new Bloodthirster kits. First time I've seen these in person. Really nice. Not as big as I thought they were, kind of like body shape wise. Aha! I can turn them around. You can see it. This is my favourite one, the one with the giant axe. But it looks really awesome. And this whole army is another one that might be up for best painting because it looks fantastic.
Thank you.
And that is the armies. So we are at the end of round 2. Mark, take us through your game.
Yep, so this time we're playing the one where you start at 6 objectives and work your way down.
Yep.
This is the table we're playing on.
Not one of my favourites, that one.
No, I agree. It can be the most swingy.
Yeah, because if you get loads turn 1 and your opponent doesn't, the game's more or less over at the start.
Pretty much, yeah, because you're just so far behind.
And you can't discard because you have to lose one anyway.
Yeah.
You can't discard to get fresh ones. It just seems like a poorly designed mission to me.
Yes, but it is my least favourite of the mouse jumps. So I was playing the Necron guy.
Necron's over there.
He's got 3 squads of Wraiths. He's got 3 Ghost Arcs with 10-man warrior squads. He's got Orokan the Diviner.
See the reroll ones and armor saves?
Reroll ones, and he gives you the +1 to feel no pain. He goes Super Saiyan. And
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Really good guy.
So he's got him, and he's got a Spider. He's got the Reclamation Legion, so he's got you can give one of his race squad to feel no pain.
Yep.
Which is obviously where the Destroy Lord. He's got Destroy Lord as well, for the usual kind of government.
Nice.
So yes, he had basically costed 4 objectives kind of down here, really, really close together, and there was kind of 2 spread out over here. He chose deployment size and took one with 4 objectives, which was obviously quite good.
Yep.
I was down here. I luckily got first turn, which I think is really important. So I decided to deep strike my Warlord with all the bikes, deep strike my Fire Dragons. I was deep striking my Scourges, deep striking my Warp Spiders, and obviously my Flyer stays in reserve.
Yep.
So turn 1 happened. I got virtually no secure objective cards. It had things like I had assassinate, kill a character,
Oh,
all this kind of stuff. So I didn't get a single point on my first turn. So what I decided to do is because there's no objectives for me to get, I moved out of his range because I've got 36 inch shoot with my guns, with my Venoms which are on the board. He can only move 6 inches of fire for effect, or 12 and snap shoot. So I used my range for a bit there. He was still able to get one of his Ghost Arcs in range to snap shoot a Venom, which he did. He rolled enough 6s. I failed my jinking save, so he got first blood.
nice.
He's got a couple of points on turn 1. Turn 2, my reserves rolls were really, really bad. I had my Flyer didn't come on, my Warp Spiders didn't come on. In fact, the only thing that came on was my Warlord and Jet Bike and 1 squad of Scourges. So I brought my Scourges in. I've got my Dark Reapers, my Scourges, trying to pop a tank but just failed to do it. I cast Guide on my 3 Heat Lances, my Hailwire Grenade, which was against one of his other tanks. Didn't do anything.
Oh, that's not good.
So yeah, that's kind of really where it started to go downhill. My Venoms just weren't doing enough damage to his Wraiths. Eventually he started getting to me. He assaulted my Warlord unit. My saves just went abysmal. So he killed every single Reaver Jet Bike. I then failed my leadership test and ran off.
Oh, yeah.
I had 2 turns to cast Psychic Powers, each one I rolled a 1, so I never was able to kind of cast.
Yeah, never had to build up another.
My Fire Dragons came in on turn 4, they deep strike and they failed to even hurt a tank. My Venoms just didn't kind of get there enough times. I mean, eventually my dice started to even out towards the end of the game, but it was too little too late. He was scoring points, I wasn't.
Yeah, that's it.
It kind of just, as we said, if you don't score in your first couple of
Yeah, I was chatting to Lee downstairs, and he was saying that your dice just were failed early game. By the time they started to pick up, you'd lost the game already. So
especially on the one where you start at 6 and work your way down.
yeah, that's it.
Means,
No good being good at the end.
Yeah, this is it. And you know, things like my Warp Spiders. First time they came in, they deep strike mishaps. You placed them in the corners. It just meant my.
Luckily, the quickest unit in the game. So
they got in the game pretty quickly. Yeah. But, it just meant, you know, I was hoping for them to kill the spider because they're really good against the spider.
Yeah.
And that would have stopped him being able to give him reanimation critical, which has then stopped him all the wounds.
Ah, so he's got the Necron formation. Yeah.
So,
Nasty.
yeah.
I'm fearing I should be playing him next.
Well, a few players have done well apparently. So
yeah, so hopefully. So this is over to mine if you take the camera.
That's a subtle hint how well you did.
Yes. So I was playing against, in fact, bring him around. This gentleman here, really nice guy, really enjoyed the game against him. As you can see, he's got Land Raider full of Terminators, Pedro Cantor, an Imperial Knight, a Vindicator, a Venerable Dreadnought, 2 Tac Squad. So a pretty simple army. Really nice to play against some Marines, actually. I commented to him that I liked playing against actually some Space Marines. You don't actually fight that many of them now. I found it quite hard tactically what to do, because the Knight and the Hammonators are better in close combat than any of my units, but my units are generally quite good in close combat, so usually I can bully the enemy with the Dread Knights, but either of those will kill me, I suspected. So I managed to lure out his Hammonators turn 1, because I got the Scout Warlord trait. So I went up and attempted to melt a gun by scouting forwards his Vindicator. Failed abysmally doing that. Also, the orbital bombardment didn't hurt the Land Raider, even though I hit it. So he then came forward with the Hammonators, and my plan was that the Hammonators would get out, hit my squad, wipe most of them, but hopefully my Chapter Master would survive. He would hit and run out, and then I'll just grab gun all of the Terminators, which kind of worked because I grab gunned them, but they wiped out my Chapter Master and the whole squad, because Pedro Cantor gives +1 attack, and he had a Chaplain in there as well, so Chaplain, Pedro, 4 attacks from every Hammonator. It's 20 re-rolling Hammonator attacks, so it completely wiped me out.
That's good unit.
I got them forwards, and I managed to move both my Dread Knights near them and bathe them in fire for my Dread Knights, and just weight of shots took down all but one of them, I think, and then they retreated backwards. But then I had control of from over here to over here, and he was pinned in the corner. His Knight engaged my Grey Knight Terminator squad. I've done a couple of wounds to it with a couple of shooting bits. With the deep striking melter from the Legion of the Damned and such. He charged into my Terminators, and he wanted to not fail the charge, so he didn't shoot them beforehand. So then he charged in, but then there were still 6 Terminators left, and he failed to roll 6s on his D, and I got a 4 up in Vulnerable Up because I cast Sanctuary. So I bounced a couple of attacks, his Stomps didn't do anything, so next turn I cast Hammerhand, and I had a Strength 10 Hammer, a Strength 8 Staff, and I just managed to knock the last couple of hull points off him. So the Knight blew up, killed the entire Terminator squad other than the Librarian, of course. And then we were just fighting back and forth. We were quite close on VPs. There was one mistake I made where I hit and ran out of combat, and he then made a 6-inch consolidate move and got just onto an objective that he had 2 cards for, which in my mind I'd said, no, he's not getting that.
Yeah.
But because I hit and ran out of 1 Terminator, which I was then going to kill it shooting. But other than that, I finished 17-12, but I'd wiped him out on the very last turn. So
a major victory.
I get a major victory for it. Really good game. I really enjoyed playing. It was a really nice, relaxed, casual game. It was just good fun.
Cool.
Dread Knights were awesome. They walked through most things. Other than one of them charged into his Dreadnought, his Venerable Dreadnought. 2 rounds later, the Dreadnought had lost a whole point, and my Dread Knight had been ripped in half.
Nice.
I just couldn't hit.
Dread Knights. Yeah, well, I suppose you don't need to smash these straight up 10, but yeah.
Yeah. Basic strength 10 makes it such a good monstrous creature.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah,
definitely
that's
important.
It. I mean, Pedro just walked in and
Yeah.
killed him and such. But yeah, good game.
Cool.
I'm on 2 wins, so
got a
if I win
chance.
the next one, might be a chance. So in between these rounds, the armies are displayed out. So I thought I might take this bit of video to give you a bit of a better look at the armies. I'm not going to comment much, just going to wander around so you can see the type of stuff that is available here. They're kind of like, look at this army here, so many orcs, hundreds of them. I hope I don't play him. Mark there, 3 knights. Nice to see some really nicely sorted Ultramarines, look really good as a whole force there. These are the Necrons that Lee is piloting, lots of wraiths. Over here, these other Necrons here that look really good, just because the white looks fantastic on them. This was the army my first opponent played. Dark Eldar. Some more Ultramarines. I think this was Mark's first opponent, could be wrong. Going down here, what do we got? Cheers. Some Imperial Guard. I think this Imperial Guard player also has the super heavy tank somewhere, but it's not lined up there. Down here we have some Grey Knights. This table here looks awesome. This is, the last game they played was Nids versus Nids. They're covering most of the table. And you can see a better view here of these are really old armour cast Tyranid monsters. He's using them as Morlocks and I think a Trigon. I mean, obviously they don't suit the aesthetic nowadays particularly, but they still look pretty sweet, and it's interesting to see old models on the table. Here's Andy taking pictures. We'll go and get him out of the way. He's the owner of the shop. We've got another Orc horde down there. More Tyranids there. What have we got over here? Aha, his gentleman I was speaking to earlier. These are his Dark Angels of a Knight. Ah, here's a better view of the army I showed you earlier, the Khorne Demonkin. They're really good. He summoned a Bloodthirster last game, always fun. Ah, here's that super heavy I noticed earlier. Lots of Imperial Guard. Not sure what these Marines are. Looks like they might be Iron Hands, I'm guessing. Oh, unpainted drop pods. At this tournament you get preferred enemy versus any unpainted models on your opponent's side of the board. It's a good thing. Pardon?
That's the ringer.
Oh, that's the Ringer army. Damn it. He's the only one here without painted models. Here's Necrons, some more Orcs. Gentleman here has fantastically converted Vendetta here. And my favourite touch here is the dropping bomb that's falling out of the Vendetta. Awesome. And lastly is the Space Wolves and Imperial Knights. I think that's all of them. Okay, welcome back folks. As you can see, we are back on the road, heading back to lovely Hatfield/Luton. So, we have finished our final round and the tournament is over. Let's go through what happened. Firstly, Mark, take us through your final game.
Yes, so I was playing the same guy you just played.
Aha, nice guy of Imperial Knight and Space Marines.
Yeah, that's right. So you had an Imperial Knight, you had Land Crusader, Vindicator, squad of Terminators with Pedro and a Chaplain.
A couple of attack squads.
Yeah, that's his list. So yeah, just a pretty sort of decent balanced list. I had first turn, and it was playing the one where you get 3 objectives, but you keep them secret for your opponent. So pretty much just 3 objectives.
Yep, Cloak and Dagger.
Cloak and Dagger, that's the one. So I had first turn again, which is really good. So I decided I was, because of all the stuff he had on board, I decided I wanted to deep strike as much stuff as I could on my anti-tank. So I deep struck my Scourges, deep struck my Fire Dragons, I did deep strike my Reavers, actually they stayed on the board. Deep strikes Fire Dragons, deep strikes Scourges, deep strikes my Wart Spiders. And my plan was obviously to try to overload his Imperial Knight shield, because also you had my Dark Ribs as well, which fired their crack missiles, trying to get his shield over in different directions.
Yep, sounds good.
I also got the Warlord Trend number 2, which gave me reroll reserves, so I had really good reserves rolls as well. So with first turn, with my reroll, I was quite confident my stuff coming in. Once again, I didn't get great psychic powers. The only powers I had, well, of note was Guide and Doom. I then got like the Fearless power, and I got the Executioner power, so just two Bombers power, which I've had the same power for 2 games already now.
Yep.
First turn, not much happened really. Because his list doesn't have much troops on the board, I killed 6 tactical squads, but he had nothing else, and I had very little anti-tank, so there's not much we could really do to each other. His first turn, his Knights, I think his Imperial Knight killed one of my Venoms, and that was about it, which got him first blood down. My turn 2, all my reserves came in. So my Fire Dragons deep struck without scatter, because I was with the Warlord into the rear arc of his Imperial Knight. I then had Scourges in one of his other arcs. I had the Dark Reapers in another arc. He obviously sensibly put the Iron Shield back towards the Fire Dragons. I was able to cast Guide on the Fire Dragons. I shot them with my 5 shots and my Harrow Grenade. I hit on my times. I penned about 4 or 5 times. He made every single Iron Shield save.
Now at this point I'll point out, could you not run, shoot, run and run into another arc after he's applied his shield?
No, because of the position of, A, because of where he'd put his shield, and B, where he'd put his other vehicles.
Ah, nice.
He had them, all 3 of them really close together, so I couldn't get around to other arcs. So yeah, I had thought of that, but and also because I've got the Succubus in there, you can't battle focus. It has to have the whole unit. Has to have it.
Oh, does it? Ah, interesting.
I think it's one of the rules of battle focus. So yeah, he got his shield save. My Succubus then, I think, took a whole point off his Dreadnought, and then my Dark Reapers really did nothing. I then, this was my turn 2, my Reavers had gone far up and off to assault his tactical squad. I killed that, and then that got me objectives. The rest of the game kind of plinked that way, really, as Imperial Knights. He ended up killing about 3 of my Venoms, and I gradually managed to wear down his vehicles. His attack Marines, they died really quite easily. His Terminators came out, they shot my Succubus and the Fire Dragons, killed all them quite quickly, but then they died to just sort of sustain fire for my Venoms and all my sort of shooting, my Wart Spider, etc. That got rid of the Terminators and Pedro. I think my Scourges managed to kill, I think his Vindicator, no, not his Vindicator, his Dreadnought, before he got to do
sort of any more damage. But it was really my heat last Reavers. They kind of stayed up most of the game, and the Water Spiders killed the Dreadnought. The Reavers managed to kill the Land Raider, and they managed to kill the Vindicator, which had demobilised itself. It ended up on about sort of turn 5 or 6. He was winning by a point. On about turn 6, he was winning as well. We rolled up and got to turn 7. On my turn 7, I basically almost tailed him. All he had left was one Imperial Knight on one whole point, locked in combat with 3 jet bikes plus one Farseer. It got to his turn. He killed them at the end of my turn 7. I was at this point, I think it was 2 points ahead of him if you included all the secondary objectives. He then moved his Imperial Knight over. He was obviously drawing 1 card, moved his Imperial Knight over. He flamed. I had 2 Cavalry Warriors on the objectives. He flamed both of them. I had to feel no pain. I failed both my feel no pains. He flipped over his objective, which revealed he had secure objective 6 twice, which that was, scoring 2 points. And then he got 1 point for line breaker, meaning he finished the game with 1 point ahead of me.
Pretty close.
Close game. It's about as close as you can get, really.
Very much so. We shall pause it there. Okay, so we're back, and now we're on the M25 after a quick junction that we had to concentrate a bit more on. So, we got through your game, Mark. So, what do you reckon about your army today? Anything that performed really well, didn't perform at all, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so, generally speaking, I was very happy with the army. I liked it all. The only part I didn't really like was the jet bike contingents, really. So that includes the Farseer. The Farseer really wasn't anywhere near as useful as I thought it was going to be. I just kept getting really bobbed into powers.
When we get to my game, I'll have similar complaints about my Libby. Just didn't get good powers at all.
Yeah, it just wasn't really that impressed with the Farseer, which is unusual because of how good they seem on paper.
Yeah.
And the Reavers just kept letting me down. Other than they were really good the final game, and then game 1 and game 2, they had the opportunity to be good, but each time they just didn't do the business really. So yeah, I wasn't too happy with the Reavers, and they just let me down time and time again. I really love the models, I love the rules and everything like that, but I just don't think they're going to perform. So
yeah, they just never seem to live up to the expectations that you place upon them.
This is it. So I think I'm just going to have to go back to my always reliable, always useful Scourges and Flyers. The Flyer's really good. I really like the Flyer. I think a couple of them are powerful.
Yeah, I think the Flyer's good.
So yeah, I think the Reavers are going to be out. Fire Dragons, they didn't do well, but that's a lot of it because I rolled poorly.
Yeah.
I don't think because they're a bad unit, so can't really mock them for that. So, but yeah, 6 Venoms, that's just pretty good mobility and all that kind of stuff. Jet bikes never once scored an objective, just because I drew so few objective cards. But
yep.
Again, what are you going to do about that? So, but yeah, so after sort of rethink, as it were, and a lot of it depends on army construction roles as well. So I really like some of the Oculus stuff, but I really think you need reserve minute placement from that. You need kind of 2 or 3 detachments to kind of bring that in, really. So
yeah, we'll talk about that at the end. How we'll be opening up slightly the this place where we go to our tournaments at 40k. They're going to be opening up their restrictions on what you can take a bit more, I think.
Yeah, well, they're considering it anyway. We haven't got a firm rule,
yeah.
But they're taking on advice from some of their players, shall we say?
Okay, so on to my game 3. Let's point out the window for this one. Hopefully you can hear me okay. So my game 3, I think I was on top table. I was playing against, unfortunately, the Free Imperial Knight list. A really nice guy, I played him before, we get on really well, so it was a good fun game. His list was 3 Imperial Knights from the new Imperial Knight book. He was using the formation, the Baronial Court, which gives them all +1 to their invulnerable saves on their iron shields on the front, and gives the Baron of the Court a few extra special rules, and they all get counter-attack and Overwatch if they're semi-close together. In his list he also has Imperial Guard allies. They've got 1 Vet squad, a Tank Commander Vanquisher, a Plasma Cutioner, and 2 Wyverns. So a really solid armour list, basically. I would have been okay playing against this. I'm not brilliant versus the 3 Knights, as I'll get into in a minute, but the mission we rolled up was Cloak and Dagger, and it's Hammer and Anvil, and he just, as sensibly he should, he deployed his 3 Knights across the centre of the board. He'd managed to cluster all the objectives in the centre of the board. He placed all 3 of his there, so knowing that he just wanted the centre of the board as Knights, I put mine at the ends of the tables. But then he won the roll for table edge, so he chose the end that had 2 of them. So that was in his favour to start with. He then won the role to set up first, so he set up first and went first, and just walked forwards a little bit with his knight, but he was really careful not to put himself in range of me being able to double charge him with my dread knights or anything. And it was just a bit of a range game. His army had so much better range than mine, and so much more deadly at range, that he knew he could just sit there and shoot me. And with my bikes I could try and get past him. I thought about all reserving, but then I had to come on at the very back of the board, and being an objective game, I really needed to get the objectives. But there was no way of me getting past his knights, because there's no threat range. With the three of them spread across the width of the table, the 12-inch movement and the charge lets him attack any unit that gets anywhere close to that central line.
Does Scout give you outflank?
It doesn't, and I don't have Scout. I don't have Khan. So I couldn't outflank, as that would have been an option. So the first plan was I'd overloaded one side with 2 Dread Knights and my Chapter Master, and I thought between them they can take out a knight. As soon as I can take out one knight, then the other bikes I'd held back would be able to try and exploit holes in his terrain. And I deep struck in the Grey Knight Terminators. He knew the Dread Knights were obviously the biggest threat, so turn 1 he opened up on both my Dread Knights, didn't kill either of them, did a few wounds. So didn't get first blood, which I was really pleased about. I thought I can charge forward. I teleported both Dread Knights behind one of his knights, so if he charged in he'd only get one, and was aiming to kill off the wyverns and such for first blood. I unfortunately cast Sanctuary on one of my knights to give it +1 invulnerable save. I think it was a 3 dice cast. I got 2 6s, rolled a 1 on the perils check, failed leadership, and got eaten by the warp. So that gave up first blood, killed one of my 2 knights, my Dread Knights, and that was kind of game there, because then the other Dread Knight was just food for the Imperial Knights, and thus I couldn't kill a knight, didn't make a hole in his lines. I tried to make the best of it. We got to turn 6, and he killed my last dude on turn 6. I was trying to gain objectives on the way, just because it's a tournament and you feel you should always do your best, instead of just throwing my stuff at the knights and dying attempting to kill one because it would be fun to kill it. I was trying to get objective points to try and stop him getting a kind of like a wide victory margin, because that would help him win, and obviously just try and stop that. But the cards I was drawing were just utter bobbins. They were all control all the objectives on the table, control twice as many objectives as your opponent, kill fucking fortification, kill a flyer. It's like, what the hell? I think I drew maybe 1 secure objective, and that was secure objective which was under one of his knights, which wasn't particularly helpful. I managed to wipe out all of the Imperial Guard on the table, which I was quite pleased with, but I didn't kill any of the knights, and he tabled me at the end of turn 6. At the end of turn 5 I had 1 dude left, so if it had ended that turn, I'm not sure, I don't think if it hadn't have gone on till 6 he wouldn't have won the tournament, so it was quite important that turn, that roll for extra turn. So going on to that, the winner of the tournament was this guy. I think his name was Mike. Really nice guy to play, really friendly guy. He had bought a 3 knight list, which was just really strong, really good choice, but he played it well, he knew how it worked. So he won by 1 point over Lee, who was one of the Necron players that I think Mark lost to in round 2.
Yep.
So it was really close at the top there. They had the same number of tournament points, but Mike, the guy with the 3 Imperial Knights, had 1 more victory point gathered throughout the day than Lee. So really close. Overall, really good day. If you've watched our previous tournament report, I think it was the doubles tournament we did a report from last time.
Yeah.
Where we finished very few games.
Yes.
And today, playing a single player in 1750, 2.5 hour rounds, I finished all my games in plenty of time. None of them were called at any point for me. What about yourself, Mark?
Yeah, no, I got not every single game we got through plenty of rounds and stuff like that. But also, I think they put breaks in this time, so you had an opportunity to extend your games as well if you wanted.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they had a half hour in between. I think we might have started half an hour earlier than usual.
Yeah, so they definitely seemed a lot more time in, and everyone seemed to be finishing the game, which is always good.
That's it. And I hate not finishing games properly, but every game went to the roll of the dice. We didn't even call it turn 5 or whatever, so
yeah,
all really good in that regard.
Yeah.
Really nice turnout. There were lots of new players there today I hadn't seen before, which is always nice.
Yeah.
So I think there were maybe 26 people there, 30 people, something like that. So really good turnout, and an excellent time was had.
Yes.
The next tournament we're going to, Mark and I are going to team up and go to the doubles tournament next time. we worked out Mark and I don't think have ever played in their doubles tournament together, so we're going to go together this time. And Ali up for the win. Oh, we've been once together, twice. Oh, okay, we have.
Very, very first tournament, 1500, Space Wolves, and
he's got a better memory than me, folks.
Space Wolves. I played. Do you remember what we played? Phil and the other guy with the Eldar. It was the Eldar Blood.
Oh yeah, I remember.
My Thunderwolf Cavalry failed the charge and all this kind of stuff. I think you were playing. You were probably playing Blood Angels at the time.
I suspect so. I used to play them quite a lot.
And then we also played another game where I was playing. We were going to play Demons with Space Wolves, but to use. We had. Oh, you was going to use the power that moved units around, and I was going to use Jaws of the Wild Wolves. That was the combination.
Oh, I remember. Yeah. I was going to use Lash of Submission.
No, not Lash, the Demon Lash. You didn't have. You had the normal Lash. You had the,
there was the Dance of Planet. Yeah. But
we ended up changing that to. I think it was Tau, and maybe still Demons. No, it would have been Demons.
I think it was Tau Blood Angels we played.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We had Jump Shoot Jumps and Mephiston. Counter defense. Yeah, that was a good list actually. We did well with that.
Yes. So we played in 2 tournaments together, but we haven't played in tournaments for a while.
Yeah.
Last couple of COGs we have.
So we shall join up and go to that. Probably a double Imperial force because Mark and I both like our Imperials.
Yeah.
So that's in a few months. I'm not sure exactly when it is, but
August 16th.
August 16th. Mark is pretty good like this. So it's actually not that far away. Blimey.
Yeah.
I better get painting.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of like, we need to get going.
Yeah, we definitely do need to get going. So we'll be going to that next. But as I say, as I was saying earlier, they're gonna, I think, alter their tournament rules around a bit. We were chatting to Andy, the guy who runs the shop, and we're thinking possibly it'll go to 3 detachments, but it can be any detachment. The shop likes to run a rule that you can't use any digital sources, because obviously they're a brick and mortar shop. They want you to use the products you buy in the shop, so that's perfectly fair. But any free source, so we'll be open to the detachments and various different things, like the assassins are now printed in the White Dwarf, so we might be able to take them. So really looking forward to army building, because Mark and I both enjoy a bit of army building. We'll see what we can knock together.
Yes.
Any other comments on tournament today, Mark?
No, just a really good day. It's always nice and fun games, nice and friendly atmosphere.
Yep.
Nice to just to chat people and just hang out on that, which is
That's
cool.
it. Highly recommend anyone who's anywhere near the area to pop into 40k. Always a good time. Really friendly people in there.
Yeah.
And you get a nice discount on all the stuff you buy. So we always like that.
Yep. 20%.
20% off. Okie doke, thanks for watching.
Cheers, guys.
Wish us luck next time. Bye.